वर्णानमर्तसङ्गानं प्रसारं चन्द्रसामपि मङ्गलानं चकारतारो वन्दे वाणी विनायको भवानी शङ्करौर्वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणो याज्ञविनान पश्यन्ति सिद्धस्वस्त्रमीश्वरम् ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मुखी पूजामूलं गुरुर्पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरुर्कृपा। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। अरे दीनदयालये तुम करता कृष्ण गोपाल श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय श्री राम जय राम जय काटै परसो मलय सुहाई काटै परसो मलय सुहाई निज गुण देई बरसाई निज गुण देई बरसाई। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय श्री राम जय राम जय श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम संत के असि करनी जिमि कुतार चंदन आचरनी ought to decide how your response will be in life. Just imagine you can choose to be a sandal tree or you can choose to be an axe. You know what's a sandal tree? The sandal tree gives you chandan that you place to the forehead of people or on the murti. That's a sandal tree. There is where you get chandan from. And an axe is what you use to cut the tree. Isn't that so? The axe, as much as you try to cut the tree, the more you try to damage the tree, the more you try to cut the tree down, the more you try to bring harsh to that tree, brothers and sisters, it reduces, it gives its fragrance and its perfume-like smell, the chandan to the axe. Isn't that so? It did not stop give what it ought to give. It continued to give that sweet sugandham, continued to give that perfume-like, that fragrance on the axe. It smeared all over the axe, despite the axe keep cutting the tree down. You ought to make a decision which one you want to be. You can either be a sandal tree, despite whatever people do to you. You give them your sweetness, you give them your fragrance, you give them your good thoughts, and you give them everything that is good, despite what they do to you. Or if you want, you can flare up and try to be like an ox. You can try to do that. But at the end result, where did the sandal tree find its place? On the forehead of the murti of Sri Krishna. Where do the axe find its place? Beat it with iron in hot burning fire in order for it to set properly. Make a decision which one you want to be. How do you respond to people is quite important, and that will test your level of spirituality. When someone praises you, stay calm. Always stay calm. When someone hurt you, stay calm also. If we don't, we are planting the seed that is not good by staying calm. When you stay calm, friends, I want to tell you this. It measures your spiritual level. If you want to know how spiritual you are, I want to put you in a test here. If you want to know how spiritual you are, find yourself in a disturbing situation, and if you remain calm, then you are spiritual. If you remain 50%, let us put it into percentage. If somebody interrupts you, if somebody disturbs you, if somebody irritates you, if you remain 50% calm, you are 50% spiritual. If you remain 100% calm, you're 100% spiritual. If you remain 25% calm, you are 25% spiritual. If you remain 1% calm, then you are liquid spiritual. You know what liquid spiritual is, right? If you remain 1% calm. On a serious note, in retrospect, look back at your life. How calm you respond to people criticism, that's the way going to be. I told you the other day, the reason why we worship Bhagavan Shri Ram, despite, not because he is the Lord of the universe, because, my dear friends, of his inner management. Like I mentioned, his life was a continued disaster. His life was a total mess. Despite of all of that, what happens, remember I told you the story. Despite of all of that, what happens, friend, he still remained 100% calm. He never, ever, in any iota of his life, was angry at one moment. He maintained pure, 100% unconditional calmness. That's why we worship him. And that is called inner management, of managing yourself internally. This can only happen through yoga, through spiritual meditation, and all of that. You can be able to maintain that calmness. I'll teach you a secret to life. You see, when anybody flare up from you like an old stove, all you gotta do, you just look to them and don't say anything, and smile at them. You never know none other treatment than that. You know, in Guyana or Guyanese would have known that We get this kerosene oil stove. All you gotta do for up and you make one box up and you're out. Can't do nothing. No matter how much they flare up, all you do calm and look to them. The whole inside the turn over, they can't take them. Remain calm is 100%, my dear brothers and sisters. So Bhagwan Ram is telling all of us that despite whatever happened, remain calm. Because you know what? Our lives are governed by karma. When you react, you're creating a karma that you have to pay the consequences for. There are 3 types of karma, but before I explain the 3 types of karma, I'll tell you in brief, I'll give you a synopsis what is karma. Just imagine that you have one pasture and you have 1,000 identical looking like cows. I'm repeating myself, being redundant. Identical looking alike. It means the same thing. For you to understand, 1,000 cows, all of them look alike. You lose those cows in a pasture. And among those 1,000 cows, one of them have a calf. If you're to lose the calf, among those identical cows, the calf will go and find the exact mother. Isn't that so? Despite all of them looking alike, the calf will go and find the exact mother. Similarly, your karma will find you wherever you are. No matter how you try to disguise it, your karma is like your own shadow. It's an inseparable twin. You cannot be separated from that. So do good karma and reap good karma. If you do bad karma, you have to pay the consequences. And so there are 3 types of karma I want you to help me to read tonight. The first one is called Sanchita karma. Can you say Sanchita karma for me?
Sanchita karma.
Very nice. Sanchita karma means all that happens in the past. That which happens yesterday, that which happens last week, that which happens last year, that what happens last birth, last 5 births, last 10 births, 100 births, whatever. That is called Sanchita karma, all that happens in the past. And Sanchita karma is like a storehouse. It stores these karma that you haven't paid for as yet. And you have to pay for it. So it is called Sanchita karma. Then what happens? Let me give you a nice example. Imagine for those students who have been doing science subject. When you go to school, the teacher tells you take a red beans and put it in a styrofoam cup and plant it and see what happens. By planting that seed, my dear friends, that happens to be the past. That is Sanchita karma. But you keep looking at that seed and then the seed germinates. And one day you see a little sprout and you are very happy. You're joyful of what happens. And you run to mommy and says, look, it's a beautiful plant. It's now going to grow here. It has been germinated, the seed that I have planted. And so you're happy about that. You're pleased about that. It means that your Sanchita karma that you have planted before, it now germinates and is called Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is what is happening, and that's unavoidable. You can't change that. That can only finish through practical experience. It means that you have to go through that. It is unavoidable. That is called Prarabdha karma. And the other one is Agami karma. Now, another child, say for example, another child planted the seed, but the seed never grew. And the seed never germinated. And so that child now is in distress. After a couple of days, that child go, mommy, I've planted, but I'm not seeing anything. That has created a feeling of dissatisfaction. I want to ask you something. Look back in retrospect. Are you proud of your past karma? Are you happy? Are you proud of what has happened in your past life? The answer can only tell you what you're experiencing now. That is called Prarabdha karma. How you respond to it is totally on your level. That is what happens presently, and that is called Agami karma. Agami karma is how you respond to the situation. Bear in mind, the way you respond will also create a karma that will happen to you that you have to pay for or receive in the future. So be careful how you are responding. Just bear in mind that prarabdha karma is what the fruit of your past karma is now bearing. And you cannot avoid that. And don't be fooled. That must be worked out. It have to be worked out. That karma have to be worked out. And my dear brothers and sisters, in the Nada Bindu Upanishad, I want to quote for you, verse 21 says,